Hello and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I'll be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted, and make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as watching us over on YouTube for a little bit of extra fun. Now, planning a Disney vacation takes a lot. There's a lot of that goes into it to make sure that everything is just absolutely perfect and amazing. If you're someone who needs a little bit of help planning that Disney vacation, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to be able to make it the perfect vacation that it possibly can be. All you got to do, email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We can get you all taken care of. Well, today's game, we have 3 movie anniversaries that we're going to talk about. We're going to lump one together, and then we're going to talk about another one later. And without much further ado, let's just give you a hello and welcome to October. We are officially into the holiday season, personal opinion, I suppose. But it is a fun time of year, and that comes with a lot of really cool movies, including 3 movies in this first round. This first round is dedicated to the Mighty Ducks series. Now, this week sees the anniversary of both the original Mighty Ducks and D3 The Mighty Ducks. So we're just going to lump all 3 of them in together. So all these questions have to do with the Mighty Ducks movies. So let's get started with question number 1. What is the state that the Mighty Ducks are set in and most of the players are from? Question number 2. What is the name of the coach of the Ducks in the first 2 movies? Question number 3. What games do the Ducks partake in as part of Team USA and play in Los Angeles in D2? Question number 4. What prep school does the entire Ducks team from the D2 movie get a scholarship for in D3? Question number 5. Name either of the 2 Minnesota North Star players that the Ducks meet in the first Mighty Ducks movie in preparation for their playoff run. And question number 6. Who is the rivals of the Ducks in the first Mighty Ducks movie? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's give you some answers here on the Mighty Ducks. So question number 1. What is the state that the Mighty Ducks is set in and most of the players are from? Well, that is Minnesota. So the entire setting for the first movie as well as the third movie is Minnesota. The second movie, obviously, we mentioned it goes a little bit somewhere else, but the entire first and third movie is in Minnesota, and that's where the majority of the players are from. Now, there's a couple people that moved to Minneapolis that are on the team. And we kind of find out who, like Goldberg, he moved from Philadelphia. That's why he wears a Flyers jersey all the time. So there are a couple people from other areas, but majority of the athletes are from the Minnesota area. Question number 2. What is the name of the coach of the Ducks in the first 2 movies? Well, that is Gordon Bombay, as famously played by Emilio Estevez. Does a great job. He's the coach of the team in the first 2 movies. In the third movie, he is not. He does play a very big role in that movie in terms of what he does, not in terms of like how much he's in the movie, but he is in the third one as well, but definitely was the coach in the first 2. If you had just said Bombay, give yourself a point there as well. Question number 3. What games do the Ducks partake in as part of Team USA and play in Los Angeles in D2? Well, that is the Junior Goodwill Games. If you had said the Goodwill Games, give yourself the point there. Famously, in that first game, they played against Trinidad and Tobago, which, if you know anything about hockey, not the most hockey-centric country in the world, if you will. I mean, not a lot of Caribbean teams are, but it's cool. The jerseys are cool. The tie-dye jersey, they look cool. And then likewise, Iceland is their big rival, and they're the ones who they have to defeat to win the gold. And Iceland, again, not known for their hockey prowess. I saw something about how it came to Iceland. It's an interesting twist, but I get it as well. Question number 4. What prep school do the entire Ducks team from D2 get a scholarship for in D3? That is Eden Hall Academy. And this is also where we got to see the new Duck jerseys. And when the Anaheim Ducks became an NHL franchise, obviously they were owned by the Disney Corporation. They went with the Ducks. These were the jerseys that they modeled their look after, which were the same ones as in D2. Now, interesting movie. Again, it was an interesting take. And at that point, all the players had gotten older. You could see how they could be a high school team at the same time. Could have been a college team as well. Question number 5. Name either of the 2 Minnesota North Star players that the Ducks met at the first Mighty Ducks movie in preparation for their playoff run. Well, to be able to get the point there, we would have to say either Basil McRae or Michael Modano or Mike Modano. Now, Basil McRae, he was a traveling player. Like he played for a lot of teams in the NHL, but Mike Modano, for my money at least, is one of the best Stars players of all times. Now, if you don't know the story of Minnesota hockey, basically you had the Minnesota North Stars. A few years after this movie, they actually moved down to Dallas. So they're now the Dallas Stars. But about 20 years ago now, the Minnesota did get another NHL team, but they are known as the Minnesota Wild. So Minnesota North Stars, Mike Modano is probably the name that rings the most if you know anything about hockey. And again, one of the best Stars players of all time. Definitely, he's also in the Hockey Hall of Fame, so that helps. Last but not least, question number 6. Who is the rivals of the Ducks in the first Mighty Ducks movie? Well, that is the Hawks. And as the story goes, Bombay played for the Hawks. He had set a lot of records for the Hawks. There was a little bit of a controversy with Adam Banks as to what team he should have been on. And obviously he ends up with the Ducks. But the big one there are the Hawks. For, again, my personal opinion, great jerseys. Great jerseys. You can find Trinidad and Tobago mock jerseys. I want the Hawks ones. Those ones are really cool. But again, they've had a TV series that came out on Disney Plus that kind of correlates to these movies, but a great trilogy and is the epitome of 90s sports movies. If you've ever seen them, you know what I'm talking about. Continuing on now into round number 2. Round number 2 is our fast facts round. This round is filled with simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is Disney princesses. So here's how this round will work. It's a simple yes, no. Is this a Disney princess or is this not a Disney princess? And it seems like that's pretty straightforward. Well, here's the thing. Disney has certain princesses designated for their marketing. And they have certain Disney princesses not designated for their marketing. So basically, think to yourself when I mention the name of a Disney princess, are they oftentimes with other Disney princesses or are they by themselves? So let's start here with question number 1. Snow White. Question number 2. Cinderella. Question number 3. Nala. Question number 4. Merida. Question number 5. Rhea. And question number 6. Elsa. So let's get some answers here. I guess another rule of thumb could have been, were they in Ralph Breaks the Internet? That could have been another measuring stick, but we'll talk about these answers here in a little bit. So let's get started with question number 1. Snow White, she is a yes. Of course, she is a Disney princess. She's the original princess. She has been around the longest, and we'll definitely see her tied to all the other princesses as well. Question number 2. Cinderella, that one is a yes. One of the most iconic Disney princesses. Definitely see her all the time. Question number 3. Nala, that is a no. Obviously, the one thing that is very well known about these princesses, they're all human-like. All right, so there's no animals currently as a princess, so Nala would not be one of those princesses. Question number 4. Merida, this one is a yes. The only princess that comes from Pixar, that is obviously Merida. And again, that makes sense. She is technically the princess and in that movie, and she is great with her archery skills. Question number 5. Rhea, that one is a yes. One of the newer princesses from The Last Dragon. So she is a yes. She is not as rooted as like Snow White and Cinderella and Merida yet, but she will get there. Last but not least, question number 6. Elsa, that one is a no. So think about this. Next time you're in a store and you're looking at clothes for like my toddler, she is obsessed obviously with Disney. She has a bunch of Disney princess things. Look at those shirts and tell me how many of them with some of those like Cinderella, Snow White, Belle, Ariel also have Anna and Elsa in them. They don't. And again, this is the genius of Disney marketing. Because they know if we don't have Anna and Elsa in them, guess what you're going to buy? More of the Anna and Elsa stuff to be able to make sure that they're part of the collection. So technically, when it comes to marketing right now, Anna and Elsa are not Disney princesses. It's kind of an interesting twist. And again, just shows how good Disney marketing really is and how it's at a completely other level than anything I could ever comprehend. Continuing on now into round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. For this round, I will ask you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. And that's going to be your 6th and final question is what is that connection? So let's get started with question number 1. What was the second movie released by Pixar, the one after Toy Story? Question number 2. What was the 5th movie released by Pixar, and the sequel was made 17 years later and features a voiceover by Sigourney Weaver? Question number 3. What Disney franchise is getting its 3rd and 4th installment sometime in the next several years? Question number 4. What movie has a ride in Tokyo with a dramatic effect that you see while riding in teacups? Question number 5. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade are all titles of what well-known movie series? And question number 6 is what is the connection? Looking for something deeper here than these are all Disney franchise movies or Disney movies. There's a deeper connection there. I'm going to give you a few seconds to see if you can figure out that connection, then I will return. All right, let's see if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. What was the second movie released by Pixar, the one that came out after Toy Story? Well, that is A Bug's Life. Now, again, the reason why they chose to go with bugs is there's like no hair they have to animate. There's no fine details. They're not even wearing clothes that move. So they could easily use what they had in terms of the technology at the time to make this look fantastic, and they did. It looks beautiful. It is stunning. Now compared to Inside Out 2, where we have advanced so far that they could even make them look like they're sweating, like the move, it's just incredible how far technology has come from the first couple Pixar movies to today. Question number 2. What was the 5th movie released by Pixar, and the sequel was made 17 years later and features a voiceover by Sigourney Weaver? Well, that was Finding Nemo. That was the 5th movie. Again, technology, even from Finding Nemo to Finding Dory, which is the sequel that's talked about here, the technology advancements are insane. Question number 3. What Disney franchise is getting the 3rd and 4th installment sometime in the next several years? That is Frozen. We're looking at Frozen 3 and a few years later Frozen 4. Apparently 4 is supposed to be a continuation, like 3 is supposed to be part 1 of the, and then 4 is supposed to be the continuation. I'm just interested to see it. It looks really cool and it sounds really cool. I have an idea of what the directions they're going to go, but I just look forward to seeing it all, and I think it will definitely end in a wedding of sorts of Kristoff and Anna. So it's just a matter of how are we going to get there. We're at point A. We can kind of figure out point B, what's happening between. That's something I'm looking forward to. Question number 4. What movie has a ride in Tokyo with a dramatic effect that you see while riding in teacups? Well, that is Beauty and the Beast. If you don't know the effect I'm talking about, it's the effect of the beast turning human. If you have not seen it, go to YouTube after this and watch it. It is incredible. They just celebrated the 4th anniversary of that ride opening up. It, like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, that can't be what it is. Watch on YouTube, I'm like, that is what it is. And it really drives home the fact that I want to go to Tokyo Disney at some point. Question number 5. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade are all titles of what well-known movie series? Well, that is Indiana Jones. That is the original trilogy. The first ones that came out, it were those 3, and of course, laid the foundation for several other ones, and is the reason why Harrison Ford was able to have some success after Star Wars as one of the few actors from Star Wars to see success. The big reason, Indiana Jones. So question number 6 is, what is the connection? Well, we had answers such as A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, and Indiana Jones. The connection there, those are all movies that have shows in Disney World. So if you've ever been to Disney World, you know how hot it can be. One of the ways that you can kind of get out of the heat is by going to a Disney show. Now, A Bug's Life, that one is obvious. That one is in the Tree of Life. It is one of the OG shows there. Now, as of this recording, it's still open. It's supposed to be replaced by Zootopia, but as of this recording, it's still open, it's still running, and it still is really weird. But to quote my mom, it was too cute. So, you know, teach their own. And then Finding Nemo, that is also in Animal Kingdom. That's where we got the viral clip on TikTok a few years ago of "Where's my dad? I'm all alone." That's where that came from. Also, because of that show, we can be thankful for all the music that is in Frozen and Let It Go. Speaking of Frozen, we have the Frozen Sing-Along, which is hilarious. Check it out. That one is in Hollywood Studios, along with Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. Again, been around for a long time. A classic show. And then Beauty and the Beast, we have the Beauty and the Beast show also at Hollywood Studios. Again, all these shows are really great ways to sit down. Most of them are inside, be air conditioned, just kind of chill for a little bit. And it's a show that oftentimes is really, really good as well. The people that partake in it are really good. There's a couple more that we didn't mention here, but there are a lot of really cool shows at the Disney parks, and a really cool way to, again, cool down, relax, and just remember, yeah, we're at Disney, everything's awesome. Continuing on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is typically reserved for our movie anniversaries. And today is another one of those movie anniversaries. Today we're going to talk about Cool Runnings. Now, it's interesting. The page flips over to October and Disney's like, winter sports movies, go! Which is an interesting time to release those. But, you know, strike while the iron's hot, I suppose. Everyone's starting to feel the chill. Everyone's going inside. Movies. So today we're going to talk about Cool Runnings, which is a great movie. Again, growing up in the 90s, this is like the epitome of 90s sports movies, and it is fantastic, and it makes me laugh every single time. Again, if you have not watched it yet, or you have not seen it in a while, watch it. It's amazing. But let's get started here with question number 1. Cool Runnings was released in 1993. Within 2, what year did the setting of Cool Runnings take place? Question number 2. What sport did 3 of the 4 Jamaicans originally participate in before bobsledding? Question number 3. What actor from Cool Runnings passed away 5 months after Cool Runnings was released, making this movie one of his last that he was in? Question number 4. What race is done in Jamaica and is the sport that Sanka participates in early in the movie? Question number 5. In Cool Runnings, what country's team was Derice obsessed with and wanted to mimic because he thought it would lead to success? And question number 6. In a scene where the members of the Jamaican bobsled team were talking about where they want to live and their dreams, where did Yul Brynner's picture in his pocket show? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with that answers, and then I will return. right, let's get you some answers here on Cool Runnings. So question number 1. Cool Runnings was released in 1993. Within 2, what year did the setting of Cool Runnings take place? Well, it took place in 1988. So in order to get the point there, what it had to say between 1986 and 1990. So this was the 1988 Winter Olympics. This was the second to last Olympics that were held in the same year as the Summer Olympics before they switched it to an Olympics basically every 2 years. But a lot of stories came out of this Olympics. We also got Eddie the Eagle that came out of this. And if you have not read Bob Iger's book, quick little Cliff Notes reason as to why. The weather was warmer than they anticipated. Bob Iger, as the head of production for ABC for the Olympics that year, said we need to find stories. The Eddie the Eagle and the Jamaican bobsled team were just 2 examples of the stories they found from those Olympics. Question number 2. What sport did 3 of the 4 Jamaicans originally participate in before bobsledding? Well, they were sprinters. And actually the story goes, and it is 100% accurate, that there was a guy from Jamaica who wanted to turn sprinters into bobsledders because he thought that they would make the sled, the push starts faster, and as a result, it would be successful. And obviously, Jamaica has a very deep history of sprinting, and to a point, it kind of worked, but at the same point, it's still up in the air on whether or not that is a true fact or not. But now, the way that they do train, it is how fast can we get going, and if you don't have that much speed, it's very hard to make a team. Question number 3. What actor from Cool Runnings passed away 5 months after Cool Runnings was released, making this movie one of his last he was in? That was John Candy. Yep, 5 months after this movie was released, John Candy passed away, making this one of his last movies. Definitely an iconic role. He did a fantastic job, as he does in basically everything that he's in. I would have loved to have seen what he would have done moving forward, but definitely he left a trail of fantastic movies in his wake. Question number 4. What race is done in Jamaica and is the sport that Sanka participates in early in the movies? That is a pushcart race. Now, this is similar to how up to a bobsled. You start at the top of a hill and you go down the hill and you have to steer it. The difference is, in a bobsled, obviously everyone is stacked up against each other. In a pushcart, at least the way that's depicted in the movie, is you have someone, usually a kid, on the front with their hands on the front, kind of steering the front a little bit, and you have someone on the back who is essentially doing the pushing, kind of like you would with a scooter. It's definitely an interesting way, and it's similar to bobsled is that in the fact that it is downhill. It's a lot of speed, that sort of stuff. Question number 5. In Cool Runnings, what country's team was DeReese obsessed with and wanted to mimic because he thought it would lead to success? That would be Switzerland. And that's where we get the whole Eins, Weins, Dreins from the Swiss team. Now, the Swiss are well known for their bobsledding team, but there's no real notion of if this was actually true or not, but it does add a really cool element and really allows us to see how the Jamaican bobsled team became themselves and how they were actually able to see some success. Last but not least, question number 6. In a scene where the members of the Jamaican bobsled team were talking about where they wanted to live in their dreams, what did Yul Brynner's picture in his pocket show? Well, it showed Buckingham Palace. He said that he was going to move there someday. He was going to live there. And he just thought it was a giant, beautiful house, which it really is. It is a big house and it is beautiful. But Sanka, unfortunately, had to remind him that is actually Buckingham Palace. So unless you're Madonna or you marry the Queen, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to live there. And it broke Yul Brynner's heart. Now, luckily, they were able to come together and it was a really touching moment, really cool moment, but it's one of those moments that just makes this movie that much better. It's a very heartfelt moment and it makes it really, really cool. So again, if you have not checked out Cool Runnings in a little bit, check it out. It still holds up and is a fantastic movie. Continuing on now into round number 5, the final round for today is going to be Disney quotes. The way that this round works is I'm going to give you a Disney quote. You just have to tell me what movie is it from. If you want to name who said it, you're more than welcome to. All I'm looking for here is the movie. So let's get started with question number 1. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. Question number 2. Adventure is out there. Question number 3. The only way to get what you want in this world is through hard work. Question number 4. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. Question number 5. Don't just fly, soar. And question number 6. You don't lose hope, love. If you do, you lose everything. All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, see if you can come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get some answers here on some famous Disney quotes. So question number 1. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. That is The Lion King, or as my daughter likes to say, Tata. She can't say Hakuna Matata yet, but she does say Tata whenever she wants to hear the song, which is all the time right now. It's Lion King, which is I just can't wait to be king, and Elsa, which is do you want to build a snowman, because the first words of the song is Elsa. So yeah, but again, that one hopefully pretty easy for you. Question number 2. Adventure is out there. That is from Up. It is said a couple of times throughout the movie. It is obviously inside the book that Carl and Ellie have as well. So that one is from Up. Question number 3. The only way to get what you want in the world is through hard work. Well, that is from Princess and the Frog. Now, obviously, that is true. I agree with that. But there's also some other factors that play a role as well. And that's why we got to all dig a little deeper. Question number 4. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. That is from Winnie the Pooh. And of course, that is Christopher Robin giving that word of advice to Pooh as he's trying to solve a problem. And he says this iconic quote. Question number 5. Don't just fly, soar. That's from Dumbo. Obviously, I'm trying to do the best impression I can. That is from Dumbo, where he is obviously trying to fly, and the mouse is like, no, just soar, you'll be fine, all that sort of stuff. So just trying to boost his morale. Last but not least, question number 6. You don't lose hope, love. If you do, you lose everything. That is from Beauty and the Beast. Obviously, Miss Potts is telling that to Belle, trying to get her to stay positive as she's going through this tough time, as she just lost her dad. Now she's, a prisoner, So definitely a good quote to keep in mind, not just in that situation, but in a lot of other situations as well. Now, there are a ton of other Disney quotes out there. We keep visiting this about once every few months. So don't be surprised if we come back to this at some point. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next week with more questions and more fun. Make sure you're following us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. If you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, turn on that bell for notifications in the comments down below. Let us know what your score is. If you're listening to us, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts, download us wherever else you can, and if you can, leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening. Now, again, there is a lot that goes into planning a Disney vacation. If you need a little bit of help, do not hesitate to let me know. I would love to be able to make sure that your vacation is as magical as it possibly can be. All you got to do, email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We can get you all set and all taken care of. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.